The fuck is that? What is that, Private Pile?
Sir, jelly donuts, sir!
A jelly donut?
Sir, yes, sir!
How did it get here?
Sir, I took it from the mess hall, sir!
Is chow allowed in the barracks, Private Pile?
Sir, no, sir!
Are you allowed to eat jelly donuts, Private Pile?
Sir, no, sir!
And why not, Private Pile?
Sir, because I'm too heavy, sir!
Because you are a disgusting fat body, Private.
If you're in a survival situation, and I hate the term prepper nowadays. I think that's gotten so bastardized it's not even funny.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us tonight. I imagine all you folks could be watching some sort of debates or some crap like that. This is more interesting.
This is where it's at.
Well, it's going to be less bullshit anyway, right?
Well, and of course we have, the most lovely Rabbit. This is her first official stream, so everybody, show her some love. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. And she's gonna be watching you guys, so you better be careful.
Oh, that is a rabbit. I thought it was a mouse for a minute.
No,
I didn't even look at it.
I can change picture.
You're fine. You're fine, sweetie.
That's a great little bunny. And Fast Group, if you want to introduce yourself there, brother.
Yeah, my name's Tony with Fast Group. Fast Group stands for Firearms Services and Training. Small business down here in Southeast Georgia.
And you got a link there in the chat. So, well, not in the chat, but in the description. So you guys, feel free to listen to this man. He's got lots of very good advice. And
Tony's awesome. I've done several streams with Tony. He's a wealth of knowledge.
And of course, you guys know this guy right here. If you don't know him, then he's not modding for you.
Yo, I'm Valhalla Waits. If you don't know me, I run a goat farm in East Tennessee, and that's kind of what I do. I'm on Rumble. I'm on TikTok now, which is kind of gross.
Do you do rodeos?
Sort of gross.
Do I do rodeos?
No goat rodeos?
No
rodeos. And there's Fast Group's channel. Make sure you guys, if you get a chance, swing by there and sub to him. If you're not, make sure that you're watching Valhalla Waits and Fast Group. You can just open up a tab and have them running in the background, see how that works.
Please. Who is all streaming this?
Well, Fast Group is streaming it. You should be streaming it.
I am streaming it.
So
I wasn't sure I wasn't sure if Tony was or not, basically.
I've got it here. I've got it over on Rumble. It's everywhere.
Shizzy got me set up earlier today.
Good deal. I didn't get a chance to add Rumble Live, so we're just gonna have to deal with that and sort that out later.
Add it whenever you want to.
It goes automatically.
Exactly.
I got it set up that way. It's just not going to be live.
Yeah, mine's set up like that too. Once I started doing the lives, I took care of that problem now. And stop doing that double record. So, one of the things I wanted to talk about, especially with you guys here, because Rabbit is really good at this, is she's been around a little bit longer than me, so I'm trying to pick her brain and get little tidbits of information.
Speaking of which, may I take a second and exclaim my excitement for the fact that I'm on stream with Rabbit. This is the first time you and I have ever talked, I believe, isn't it?
Only in the back room once before.
Yeah, briefly. The one. Yeah, yeah. So this is the first time I've ever been on stream with you, and that makes me excited. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank you because you're awesome in the chats, babe. You really are.
Well, thanks.
There we go.
She is. She's a mod for a lot of places. I see her in all the places that I go to.
She was my first mod ever.
Yeah, I think. Well,
Yes.
I think you're a mod on my also, aren't you, Rabbit?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you're the only one I've got.
Yeah, I don't know.
Of course, I would actually have to do some streaming for her to moderate, but
Yeah, it's been a little while.
it has.
Busy.
It has. I've had some internet issues, and I didn't want to chance. I had a pretty big guest on the last time I streamed, and it went horribly wrong with the internet.
Was I on that stream?
No, you were in it. It was with Dusty Solomon. You weren't on the stream. You were in the chat. Though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure. Couldn't remember. And of course, the man of the hour, Shizzy.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm everywhere. I actually had talked to a few fine folks, and they'll probably be just dropping in to they'll be doing a stream raid. I'm pretty sure.
Cool. Very cool.
And it's really, really cool folks I ran into from going over and talking with Lincoln Kane. I went over there and just,
That dude's pretty amazing.
dude, he is just
Like he's selfless, it seems. That dude does a lot for people.
Who was that?
does.
Lincoln
Lincoln
Kane,
Kane?
LC. He's an Australian guy that actually owns and operates a really large sheep farm. But he's in YouTube a lot, and he's very generous to small creators, and
Mhm.
he's a good dude. I like him.
He is.
Might not be
He also
everybody's
doesn't-
cup of tea, but I like him.
He also
Lincoln
doesn't tolerate
Kane.
dumb. Yeah, Lincoln Kane. His channel might be down because my membership got like paused.
Oh, I got that too.
Yeah.
I didn't even think
So
about
his
that.
stream may be down, but that doesn't mean that Shaney isn't going to be.
He'll be back. He'll be back.
He's always back.
This is if he did get deleted, this will be the second time I've seen his channel get deleted. He'll be back.
Right. Yeah.
I can't keep
He's
the man down.
good people. No. So one of the things that I, because unlike you, Val, I don't have a working farm. I don't have several acres to work with, or Rabbit for that. Rabbit has, a good piece of land too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, about 6.5 acres.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
So what are you usually growing throughout the year?
Me.
Yeah. Right.
Onions, potatoes, garlic, green beans, peas, corn, bell peppers, celery, carrots.
Where
Is this
are
all for personal consumption, or is it?
Oh yeah, this is just what I use all winter long, and I supply some to my kids.
Awesome.
And then I
You-
raise one steer a year for the butcher,
There you
which
go.
is me.
You butcher your own steer?
I have friends come out and kill and help me hang because I can't lift that anymore. But I process it. I break it down. I was a butcher through college.
You're such a badass.
Nice.
Well, my
I couldn't
husband's
imagine-
family.
I couldn't imagine butchering a steer by myself. Like that's such an overwhelming task. Like that's such a big piece of animal. Goodness.
Well, my husband's family owned a grocery store when I started dating him. And so I was heavy into the sciences, and cutting up a piece of beef's no worse than anything else. So they
a lot
taught me
heavier.
how.
Just a lot heavier. That's all.
Just a lot heavier.
Oh.
That's what chains and pulleys are for.
Block and
Yes.
tackle.
Block and tackle. So
But you know
One-
what? It's also different, because I deer hunt and process my own deer. But even if you hunt pigs, butchering a pig, butchering a deer is different. Butchering a cow there is differences to it. Just
Oh,
because
yeah.
you can do one doesn't necessarily mean you're good at another.
yeah, my grandmother and grandfather would usually process deer together. Whenever they would butcher one. My grandfather built his basement to handle that, where he could just take it down there and have it done up in just a few hours. My grandmother would be over there with the big hand crank meat grinder, grinding up
Mhm.
parts for making burgers, and they would just put it all in the deep freeze.
I want one of those old fashioned meat grinders so bad. The hand ones that are all cast iron.
I've got a couple of them.
Oh, I want one so
I've
bad.
got one. You don't want to use it.
No, but they're never going to break. You know what I mean? You're never going to have to worry about replacing it. That thing is going to last forever.
Well, it has lasted forever so far.
Yeah.
It's but once you start cranking on that, you're gonna go, man, why did I choose this to grind meat?
Yeah. Especially if it's anything more than one hamburger.
Well,
So Valhalla, what kind of stuff are you growing throughout the year?
livestock for the most part. I'm not set up yet to have a garden because I have goats, and my goats will absolutely destroy every garden that I've attempted to plant thus far.
And,
Oh, yeah.
and so that's
Oh,
what
yeah.
you're trying to do is get your fencing up so you
Yes. Yeah, that's so for those that don't know, I do have my Venmo and Cash App pinned in the comments, and that is going towards a fence, and so we're growing, y'all. We're growing, and y'all are gonna help me make it happen. So I appreciate each and every one of you for helping me do this, but I'm gonna record a bunch of it on the way, and we're all gonna get to kind of check it out together. It's gonna be cool.
So I
can.
gotta
what I have
ask
to do is-
I gotta ask
Oh, go
Paul
ahead.
one question.
Go ahead.
The goats that you have, I don't know
Yes.
if I've asked you this before or not, but do you raise those as livestock or you have those as pets?
So, they're a little of both, I guess is the best way to answer that. So I raise Nubian goats, and they're a dual purpose breed. They're a really, really large dairy goat, so they double as meat production as well, right? And for the last however long I've been doing this, when it was just kind of a hobby farm, I've been just growing my herd, just getting my numbers up, and now we're officially at the spot that I would like to be for my property as far as the size of my herd. And now we'll just start, selling offspring. And the my goal with these goats is to always have them the most friendly that I can, right? Like I don't want a goat that's gonna be aggressive out there and hurt some kid, because these bucks get big. My big buck,
Right.
he's over 200 pounds easy. He's probably 220, 230 without having to worry about it. And they can really put a hurting on somebody. So I try to spend a lot of time with them. I try to socialize them, try to keep them real mellow. But essentially, they're livestock. Sell them to people that are growing their own herds.
yes.
Right. I didn't know if you were using any to, like Rabbit talks about, she raises a steer every year to butcher. I didn't know if you butchered any of them because
That is
I've had-
my bad.
I've had goat a lot of times, and it's pretty damn tasty.
Oh, I like goat. I've had goat before. And it is in the works, right? Like eventually I'm gonna start keeping some of the livestock for myself and fill up my own freezers, but we haven't got there yet. We're close now. We're getting close now.
Gotcha.
But that's the plan.
Yeah.
And I've got other animals too. I've got I keep a couple chickens that I harvest the eggs from, and I've got Muscovy ducks that I sell. I've got pigeons that I sell.
Squaw Bob would like that.
I love my pigeons, bro. I love them.
How's your rabbit production going?
I do have rabbits as well, and I haven't started producing them yet, just because it seems a little quicker pace than I'm going to be able to keep up with at the moment.
Well, summer's not a good time for rabbits anyway. Anything over 80 degrees for 5 days, 85 degrees,
Not
they'll
so good.
become sterile.
Okay,
Well,
good to know. Good
That
to know.
lasts about 5 days in southeast Georgia.
Summer, you don't breed. You do early spring and late fall.
You're going to be a great source for me on this because I've got me and my buddy kind of got these rabbits together, right? I happened to acquire like 8 rabbits, so me and my buddy split them, and we're both still just kind of keeping them. He's got a couple young boys that really enjoy them, and so I don't know much about breeding rabbits yet, but I know that you do. So me and you are probably going to have. I'm going to have some questions for you, ma'am. Is what I'm getting at.
Well,
you
if
don't-
you ever DM me your address, I have some books I can mail you on it.
Cool.
Yeah, Valhalla, you really don't have a lot to do with the breeding part.
Well, let's hope
They
not,
work
anyway.
that out amongst themselves.
Let's hope not, anyway.
Well, you also have to keep them away from each other for periods of time. But this is something that was, sort of important that a lot of people miss out on. And this is one of the things that, is that community building, where you have a network of people that you can share ideas with. I don't know about with you, Tony, Fast Group, if you've got people that you share things with where you're just like, hey, I've got this, I've got some cucumbers. If you can pickle them, you can keep the rest. Or if you're just doing this all on your own, like your freeze dried stuff, do you rely on outside sourcing for things like that?
No, we do everything in house. We didn't have much luck with the garden this year. It kind of got overgrown, and nothing really got planted. It was just hot. I don't know if we were busy or just lazy, or both. We did try to do some tomatoes this year, and we decided to do them in pots. They started out great, and then in one night, just about all of them got eaten by the hornworms.
Yeah.
And so we got like 3 tomatoes off of 6 plants, I think, that we originally started with. So when it gets cooler, I might put in a winter garden. You can carrots, turnips, lettuces, stuff. You can grow
Cabbage
those.
is real good that way, I think.
Yep, cabbage
Bok
grows
choy.
good.
Bok choy is real good in the winter too. They're cold weather.
Yeah. And lettuce is
Yeah.
good for the spring.
And of course we don't
early.
have cold weather. I mean, we had a few
Right.
days last winter, earlier this year it would have been probably January, February, where we had 3 or 4 days that each night below 0 or got below 32 degrees.
Yeah, we had my wife had a lot of plants that got destroyed in that early spring freeze because we had a very, very warm winter.
Until
and we
it
actually,
wasn't.
and we had blooms that came out, and then it was freeze came and just like boom, 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 just like everything.
Well, that
I mean-
killed all of Georgia's peach production this year, didn't it?
Yeah,
Did
pretty
it?
much.
So, in
Yeah.
other words,
Okay.
you guys moved to Kansas.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's just what it was like. It was crazy.
I just saw
but yeah.
a Georgia's Peaches truck. So we get a Georgia Peaches semi, right? That'll come up and park in a couple parking lots, every few weeks or whatever. I just saw one the other day.
Yeah, I mean, you're still going to get some, but it just cuts down on the production that they have.
Sure.
And then you end up with possibly if whatever you had survived, you get later blooms. The peaches might not be as big, or they're picking them a little bit early because the temperatures are starting to rise, so they're not quite as ripe as they should be. So Yeah, Japanese beetle is horrible.
Oh,
There's,
they're so bad.
but I mean that's sort of one of the things of becoming sustainable. I think that a lot of people miss out on is having that network of people that you can work with, that you're able to share a little bit of your produce with them or some of your skills with them. I think can help with being a little more sustainable. I mean, my wife is really good at growing stuff, and I just build. I mean, I do all of the woodwork, metal work, whatever it is. If she's like, "Hey, can you make me this?" and I'll get the material. If it's welding, I'll weld it all together. If it's wood, I build the wooden portion of it. And I think that having that crossover, it's my wife and we exchange that kind of barter system, but I think on a larger scale, she does the same with other people, like swap out beans for some other stuff. So
Yeah, we just we don't have we have right at a half an acre, that the
Yeah,
house
yeah.
sits on, and so there's not a lot of room. We've constructed some raised beds that we're trying to get going for the last couple of years. So we've never had anything, not even enough for us, let alone to give away. But
That is one of the neat things that I've found since I've been down here, right? Because I'm the only one here that. Rabbit, where are you at?
Southeast Kansas.
Okay, so I'm the most Yankee out of the four of us by far. Originally from Northern Illinois, right? In moving down here, I will say that that's one thing that happens a lot. Like your neighbors, they'll call you, knock on your door. Hey, I got a bunch of cucumbers. Hey, I got a bunch of corn. I'll go take eggs when I get a surplus of eggs, and it's a neat thing that I don't know that most people get to experience.
That's how it is here. And I think I'm more Yankee than you. I grew up around northeastern Pennsylvania, New York.
Oh, there you go. You might be even then.
She was telling some pretty good stories earlier about her prior life and some of the work that she's done. It's amazing. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. So kudos to you, Rabbit, because
absolutely,
it's so cool to see that people have figured out a way to be self-sustaining, especially in this day and age where you've got your cities just completely crowded. And I think it was Shelley was talking to me earlier. It was just like, well, I don't have a whole lot of hope because I'm living in an apartment in a city. Food supplies get cut off, and I'm sort of cut off. And Rabbit told me, there's you can still dry food. Just get some dehydrators and keep them outside, and you're going to reduce the quantity, the weight that you have. If you needed to tap into that.
Well, speaking of food preservation, I would assume that Rabbit cans, yes.
Oh yeah.
And I know Fast Group has a great product that I still haven't tried, but I know that
great.
he it looks fire. It looks so good.
It is.
It is.
Trust me.
And
It is.
Yeah, Shizzy's had some.
yeah, I know Shizzy has, and Shizzy told me it was fire, so I believe it. It looks good, and he dehydrates his own food and sells it as freeze-dried food, not dehydrated, my bad, as freeze-dried. So just these two individuals here can teach.
And I can
food preservation, and you can.
I can also, yeah. Yeah, I sure do.
It's important, y'all. It's important to reach out and get other people's knowledge.
Well, let me ask you, Fast Group, if you're canning, what are you going to be canning? You're going to be canning just pretty much any kind of vegetable?
Vegetables, meat, sauces. Yeah.
So if you're doing vegetables, how many vegetables would it be worthwhile to can? For example, if you were just to say, listen, I'm going to spend, because my mother would do the same thing. she would spend a week just doing nothing but canning green beans, peas. But see, I was so young that I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to what she was doing. I just knew that the food was there. Say, for example, if you're going to do some beans, how much beans would you get to last you through the winter for canning?
Oh Lord, I don't have any idea.
Like a bushel or
I
what?
don't can on that level. Um, it's just whenever I find a quantity of something, maybe that'll be on sale, or shit ton of carrots or something. It's like, damn, take these and can them, or ground beef. Sometimes get the 10-pound logs from Sam's or something. You take it and I can that.
It's
So
kind
the
of,
other the other thing that we do mostly is because of our freeze-dried foods. We try to do everything in house as much as possible. Now we don't make our own pasta like for the macaroni or the penne bolognese, but I make my own red sauce. We make our
Okay.
own. We make our own roasted bone stock. So I will can a bunch of that at a time. Save the bones, save vegetable scraps, everything in the freezer, and then get enough of it. And I've got a 30-quart stock pot, and we'll make bone stock and let it simmer overnight. And then all that gets filtered off and that gets canned. So when we make our freeze-dried foods, anytime that there's a liquid to be added, we don't use water. We use the bone stock. There's no flavor in water.
There's a lot of minerals in bone stock in addition to
a lot of minerals and a lot of flavor. Just like our red sauce, we make that from scratch, and all of that gets canned. So when we need to make a batch of, say, the penne bolognese or whatever, then we use what I've canned. It's not some store-bought red sauce that's full of preservatives and shit you can't pronounce. It's just
real
tomatoes,
food,
vegetables, and
Right.
So that was our whole approach to the freeze-dried foods. And what we're working on, or actually what the wife is working on now, is she's doing a lot of meal prep stuff just for busy people. So things like celery, carrots, and onions, and maybe mushrooms and this or that, where okay, you want to make something, but it calls for 2 stalks of celery. Well, you go to the store and you buy a big thing of celery and you use 2 stalks, and 2 weeks later that shit's brown and stinking in your refrigerator because you didn't use any more of it.
Truth.
Right.
Truth.
So the idea behind that is to, hey, you've got it. It's in a cabinet. It's in a pouch. Open it up, take out what you need, seal it back up.
Right.
And it rehydrates in whatever you're cooking.
Yeah, I dehydrate a lot of celery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense, though. Celery's got believe it or not, celery's got kind of a distinct flavor, right? You're not going to lose that flavor from dehydrating it. It's going to come right back.
If you freeze it, it loses its texture and gets mushy.
Yeah.
So if you dehydrate it, it usually maintains its flavor, but it loses some of its color and some of its texture.
Yeah, and dehydrating also will lose a good bit of nutrients, where freeze drying, it retains 98, 99% of its nutrient value.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And obviously lasts considerably longer.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yes, it does.
That makes sense.
So along with all of that, what are the things that you try to that you end up searching out the most whenever you're thinking about doing this kind of stuff. And I'm doing this for not only me, but for these fine people in our audience. If you're looking at, acquiring some practical skills like cooking, carpentry, sewing, are you guys trying to learn any of this stuff on the side? Just throughout your daily life, you just
Oh
go,
yeah.
hey, I want to,
Oh, yeah.
I want to figure out how to use a joiner and things like that.
Well, so that's I am by no means self-sustained, right? Like I'm not there yet, and it'll be a long time before I get there if I ever completely get there.
I don't think
But
you can.
it's
Well, I'm not talking about the fully self-sustained, but because a lot of that comes in with that barter system or
Right.
having that network of
Right.
people where it's like,
Well,
yeah, I can't weld or I can't build something, but I know someone that can, and I can give them a goat leg and payment for it where I don't have to.
that's what I was getting at though, is that I can't do it all, and I started kind of later in life, right? Like I didn't grow up doing this stuff. I didn't grow up on a farm, but I am doing what I can today, and those skills eventually just become second nature, and then you gain, you learn more as you go, right? So like the idea of self-sustaining is such a overbearing situation, right? Like it gives me anxiety to think about it, like how far off I am from being secure with myself and my property and my food sources. But as long as you just kind of work at it, every day that I learn a new skill, every day that I have a better herd of goats is one step closer to that direction. And I think that's kind of the more important thing than trying to achieve self-sustainability, right? Is just start somewhere, y'all. Start a little garden, start a little raised bed, get a couple chickens, invest in chickens. That's what I tell everybody. Invest in chickens.
If you live in an apartment, get a planter and start growing some herbs and vegetables.
They've got those really neat like stackable towers for herbs. I've seen people produce so much out of these, like a literal 2x2 square. You know what I mean? It doesn't take much space to have herbs year round, 24 hours a day, fresh herbs on your balcony.
Yep.
But back to your question, Shizzy, I've been blessed to learn a lot of skills in my life. I didn't grow up on a farm, but I grew up outdoors. I worked on a very large farm all through high school and even after high school. So it wasn't livestock. It was just a big farm, horticulture, and then of course corn and soybeans. I grew up in East Central Indiana. That's where I grew up. The hell out of there as soon as I could, but I grew up hunting and trapping. I've done a ton of woodworking. I've got furniture here in the house that I've built. At one time, I did have a pretty good sized wood shop. Of course, now I have a metal shop. Everything in here is for gunsmithing and machining with a lathe and mills and presses and bandsaws and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and sawdust doesn't play really well with that.
No,
it really doesn't.
Although I did, myself and a friend of mine, we did just build a 2.5-inch diameter mortar, black powder mortar.
Nice.
And I made I still had some cypress when I built my patio furniture about 12, 13 years ago. I had some still rough cut 4/4 cypress that I built the carriage out of. And all that's left now is to shoot things out of it that is the perfect diameter for beer cans.
Why do I feel like the ATF is going to be making a stop at your house very shortly?
I'm an 07 FFL manufacturer.
Yeah, he's a manufacturer. So I mean,
I think I
he
did
can
know that actually.
he's got the credentials to actually build the stuff that he's
But
safe.
It's a smooth bore black powder. There's no federal restrictions on any of that. It'd be just like a black powder rifle.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah. So, and also, some of the like do it yourself projects are something that, I think really make a lot of sense. I know that like for you, Valhalla, you've got a farm that you're working all the time, and you're probably constantly just like, wife is like, hey, can you fix X, Y, or Z? And you're just like, yes, dear. And you grab, maybe
Well,
it's just
6 months
the
later,
gutter.
I finally get around and I do it. By God.
Yeah, the gutter might have broken loose a little bit, and you're sick of like hitting on your head as you walk under it, and you're just like, all right, I'm going to fix that tomorrow.
And that's the thing, right? Like if challenge yourselves, right? Like if I get it, something breaks, some new pops up, some new maintenance that I've never experienced before and don't have the slightest idea how to deal with. Sometimes I need somebody else to help me that first time, right? But then I pay attention to what they're doing and I help them as best I can. And then the next time it happens, I've got a pretty good grasp on how to handle it.
YouTube's your friend.
Oh man, YouTube is so good for just silly little maintenance issues. It's so good.
Oh
yeah.
But here's the thing. I guess the whole theme of this is about being self-reliant, and I don't believe that's possible.
Correct.
I don't think it is. There's no way that you could be 100% self-reliant. I think we can be less reliant, by having, a farm and growing your own vegetables and whatnot. But
well, and even if you're living in a city in an apartment, you can still be self-reliant. It's part of that is making those connections and having that network of people that you're looking out for them, they're looking out for you. And this is something that, Shelley was, like I said, Shelley was the one that brought this up in the first place, was just like, it's like, yeah, I'm sort of screwed if I'm in an apartment because, if food supplies get cut off, I'm done. It's just like that, but that's not true. If you've got a good network of people, you're able to reach out to them and they're going to make sure that you're taken care of.
And there's nothing that says that you cannot can food in an apartment.
Absolutely.
Why can't you?
That's how I learned.
You got a stove, you got a pressure cooker, or even a water bath can, or
And see, I'm a city girl.
Go ahead.
I'm a city girl, and I grew up in the city, but we were dirt poor. My grandparents had a farm, and during harvest season, after they went through and got what they wanted, they'd let us can whatever was left. And that's how I learned to can in the city. I'm not a country girl. I moved out here to the farm 30 years ago, and it's still a learning experience.
Every day is a learning experience with this stuff, y'all. Well, the four of us here who have all been doing this for different periods of time, right? We're all practicing most of this, at least on a fairly regular, if not daily basis. And the four of us here can sit here and swap knowledge, right? You've already seen it happen. I don't know how many times this stream. And I've only been doing this I've only been raising goats for like 4 or 5 years, but I have so much knowledge to share with that. Like if anybody had a goat question, I'd be able to help, and maybe not expert level, but more than the average Joe, I guess.
Yeah, but I think back to what Shizzy's talking about with the community. If things go, and I'm gonna tell you now, round 2 is coming. with face diapers and lockdowns, it's coming. And
I don't doubt that, to be completely honest.
Yeah,
no, I don't doubt that either. I don't think anybody doubts it.
Yeah, the point I was trying to make is that if things really do go to shit, you're not, all these people that talk about, I'm grabbing my go bag or my, what do they call it, an inch bag, I'm never coming back bag, and heading to the woods, and that's where they're going to live the rest of their life.
Have
They're
fun.
going to be dead. They're going to be dead within a month or so. They just are. Okay.
Yes.
No no Homo sapien in the history of time has ever survived on its own. There has always been a community of some type, a tribe, just whatever. Number one, there's safety in numbers, and you have different people with different skills. So if all this, shit hits the fan takes place, the first thing that's going to happen after that initial unrest and all the stupid people end up killing each other, communities are going to form. And there's going to be a leader or leaders of that community. And who are they going to let in? The people that are just going to suck off that system, or someone who has a skill? Okay.
And it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be
You're
a
a
great
doctor.
skill.
You're a
You know,
doctor.
well, well, that's what I'm saying.
You can
You
do
don't have to be a
woodworking.
doctor. You don't have to be a brain surgeon. I
You
mean,
just
those
have
are
to have a
helpful.
skill that is
but,
needed to
but
rebuild
imagine-
the community.
Imagine someone that knows how to knit.
Exactly.
I mean, they're able to knit clothes, and they're just like, I just know how to knit. I mean, that's all I know how to. It's like
Yeah,
that is a valuable resource to have.
where are you, going to
it-
get your clothes?
Exactly.
Eventually, you're
It's-
gonna have to make them if it's that level of
If it becomes that dire,
right.
but
Yeah, but
also,
What are you going to make
then
them
there's-
out of?
Well, that's the point. Like that's exactly we're all in agreement. Like that knitting is a valuable skill that doesn't quite.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That
been
was,
doing that lately.
Some max headroom stuff there.
I might need a new
Yeah.
camera. I'm not.
But that's my point is, and I'm guilty of this too. I don't know how to brain tan an animal because that's how it was done. Every animal's brain is large enough to tan its entire hide.
I was just about to say that. That's a neat little fact that everybody should keep in mind.
But I don't know the process
I
of
love
doing it.
this.
I've seen it done once or twice, and I'm not saying it'd be perfect the first time or two that I did it, but I could figure it out. It's not that's not nearly as complicated as you may expect it to be.
No, but if you don't possess the knowledge,
Right.
skill, and ability to do
Right.
it, you're going to be walking around like Adam and Eve.
Naked as the day you were born.
Yep.
Which,
Hey.
let's be honest, I'd probably go that route anyway if the world ended, just because.
Pants or
not?
prison.
Exactly. Why
What else can I say? No,
I
it's
gotta-
Yeah, so
That-
it's the community, the people that come together collectively with things to offer within the community of like-minded individuals. Those are the ones that will not only survive but thrive after some huge meltdown. Just my opinion.
Agreed.
So, to your point, Shelley, that whenever we had discussed this earlier, yeah, you might not be able to, have a garden or run the miracle mile, but you have the skill of being able to teach. There's other skills that you have. We won't go into those here. Shelley. You have other skills that become very,
this is
very
a family stream.
very valuable.
Shizzy. We don't have
It
to
is a
talk
family
about that.
stream. I'm trying to be clean here, damn it.
Don't do that on my account.
No, it's not on your account. It's on YouTube's account because I'll get kicked off here in a heartbeat. Rude.
She said rude.
Love you, Shelley. No,
Love you, T3.
Those teaching skills are very, very helpful, especially if there's a lot of kids around. You got to have somebody that can, bring those kids a little bit of intelligence. So yeah, and everybody thinks that this world is going to come to this abrupt halt and cities are going to go into complete chaos, and I don't see that kind of thing happening at a massive rate. Yeah, you're going to have little outbursts here and there, but I just don't see it coming to this whole end of the world kind of burn down the city and everybody in it kind of attitude. Gutters Pub, Everybody,
I saw
welcome
that.
Gutters Pub and all her fine people. If you haven't checked out Gutters Pub, definitely go check her out. She's one of the folks came over from Lincoln Kane.
I
And
saw
I've
her.
spoke with her. Oh,
Later, Tony. I saw her on Lincoln
he'll be
Kane
back.
one night. He'll be back. No worries.
Yes, she's really cool. She's
The hell?
that's so weird
I don't like it.
and acting funky.
It was
That kind
doing
of-
it last night with me and David before we started the stream. It was doing the same thing.
Maybe it's you.
It might be. I don't
Might
think
be. I don't
it's
know.
internet connection. I think it's probably camera.
That could be it.
So we might be doing a grift stream for a new camera soon. Hey-o.
Hey, I mean that's one of the things that I was doing with my print stream, and somebody had asked me about that. Like, you going to do some more print streams? I was like, absolutely, I'm doing more print streams, but I've got right now I'm printing out all the parts for the multicolor printer.
Yeah.
So whenever that gets here, absolutely, Gutters Pub. She's at what 300 and I think 1 subs. Last time I checked, it's been a while, but Gutters Pub has got, really cool stuff and a really good thing going on. Really good people that come and hang out, and she keeps it like pretty straight up. I mean, she's like totally base. So I would recommend anybody go and check her out. I'll find the link to it here eventually.
I'm getting there. I got it.
Yeah, Gutters Pub.
I'll throw it
She's good
in
people.
everybody's chats.
Yeah, you
Pretty
just
sure mod for everybody here.
yeah, pretty much. Oh, where did Tony go? He'll be back. I'm pretty sure. He might just be having computer issues. It happens. We'll let him back in. The link stays the same, so all he has to do is just click on it and come back in whenever he wants to. But we're still streaming over on his, which is good because I want him to get some watch hours. So Rabbit doesn't have a channel. She doesn't have a channel, so you can't really sub to Rabbit, but you can if you search for it. You can.
No.
She shot that down so fast.
She said, "Don't sub to me."
I'm a mod.
Then I have.
That's what I do.
She's a mod, so.
Oh, that's funny.
But you can still show her love.
That's funny.
And of course Valhalla, he has a channel which is unbelievable. He does lots of farming.
Let's not get carried away. Let's not
short.
get carried away.
Did you notice what I put up in under my name here? You saw the name. Who's your daddy?
I didn't.
Down
I
under
didn't see
your
that at
stack.
all.
You got Goat Daddy.
That's good.
Who's
That's
your daddy?
good.
Goat Daddy. Yeah, she hides. She's wily like that. She's wily like that.
Well, if you're a mod and you ever see her in chat, you can just go straight to her channel. I'll
Man,
leave that-
there's
I'll leave
man
it at
bun.
that.
I'm not a real mod. I'm just here because my man bun is sexy. Man bun is awesome.
Was Man Bun on a stream recently?
Yeah, she was on Shani's.
Yeah, Shanigram, yeah.
Shanigram.
I thought I
Yeah.
saw her somewhere recently. There he is. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe
Hopefully.
he might be having internet issues, which is fine because we'll keep it streaming over there. We will definitely keep it streaming over there.
Because we have a good community for the end of the world.
We do have a good community for the end of the world. But some of the other things were, because I was like, what are some of the things that people think about being self-sustaining? You've got
Food is obviously
ways
the
of-
first thing.
what is?
Food, I would assume.
Well, food is one of them, but also like having like the multiple income streams, and you have your regular job, but then those little grifts that you do on the side.
You need to get that side hustle.
Well, and it doesn't have to be a big side hustle. It could just be
No.
that, you mow the lawn for your neighbor once a week or something like that, and they pay you like $5 or some crap like that. Having that little bit of extra income really can be helpful. I mean, for me, YouTube, if I break even, I'm happy. You know, it's like,
I'm amazed anybody's giving me money ever. So it's kind of it's all just a win, right? There's not really a break even. I'm just impressed that people are willing to give me their hard earned cash, and I appreciate every single red penny.
yes, absolutely. Same. Gutter Pub sounds like somewhere I want to hang out. Yes. Yes. Gutter Pub is somewhere you want to hang out. She's very cool. Very cool. Very cool people. And Gutter Pub, I will tell you, if you see Rabbit in there, I guarantee you make her a mod and she will teach your mods a thing or two. She's straight up like good people. Some of the other stuff was, I mean, what kind of emergency fund do you guys have? Like if something were to happen.
You mean like cash put away?
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to give the amount, but like, if,
like I'm not
I'm
putting that on the internet.
No, I'm just saying that, for example, some people say, I might have 6 months reserve cash if I fell down and broke my leg. I might have, enough cash to make sure my mortgage is paid or whatever it is.
Well, I think I think it's a safe assumption that none of us have enough put away, right?
Well,
But
you
I
can
think-
never have enough put away.
I think that if I remember correctly, they recommend you have something like 3 months put
Yeah.
away in case of emergency. And I do not, but we strive, we try.
And that's about what I have, is about 3 months setback.
That's ideal, I think.
Yes. That is about ideal. With my wife and I, we have to have more set back because she runs her own business. So she has to make sure that she's got stuff taken care of, payroll and all that kind of crap, which that's like the business account. For personal account, I think we've got it set up for about 6 months to, if both of us were not able to work or something like that. So, that can be a lot of cash if you once you look at it, you're like, holy crap, that's like
Yeah.
a lot sitting there not doing anything, but it's almost like your own like personal insurance. And it wasn't something that because whenever we first got married, we were like underwater, like probably for the first 10 years of our life. I mean, we were just underwater, just making the bills. But after a period of time with both of us setting that money aside,
I don't like it.
that's got to be a camera issue.
I think it is, but I don't know. I've unplugged it. It's only a couple months old. I don't know
What kind of camera is it?
It's a Logitech.
Yeah.
It's not a great one. I might have to improve it.
You need to make a Amazon wish list.
Yes. I wish I knew how to do that.
It can't be that complicated, right? But
Welcome back, brother.
I was considering that and putting all the components for the electric fence on it and stuff.
Yeah, it
We'll
would
get
help.
creative. Yeah.
Because some people can't afford a lot, but there's all kinds of little pieces that you need with a fence.
Mm-hmm.
Like your come along,
Yes,
your
ma'am.
little brackets.
There's so many little intricate parts to this fence that I need to get. And
So what does your tool shed look like?
so the barn the barn on the property was originally it was a 6-stall barn. They opened one stall to the outside and put a door on the inside, right? So it's got a little covered section. So now we were down to 5, and then they put a well in one, and but there used to be horses on this property, so they put a well in another stall, and it was also a tack room. So it's got a couple like saddle harnesses or whatever in there. And then I took the 4th stall when I got here and built a little shop in it. So I've got a 3-stall barn, and one whole stall is dedicated to my pitiful tool collection and animal feed, and that's kind of my base operations.
See, I'm gonna have to come up and make a visit to you and give you a bunch
You're more
of
than welcome,
tools.
buddy.
I've got a bunch of like wrenches and just regular tools that could easily use a home. If you had a toolbox, I would gladly like
Oh,
give you everything.
I got
that you
toolboxes. They're
could
not very full,
possibly
but I got
imagine.
toolboxes.
I've got plenty of tools. I've got a container that's one of these old like file cabinet. It's a small like handheld file cabinet that you would normally put files in.
Yeah.
And my wife was like, "Oh, I got this thing. You mind tossing this?" And so I set it on the ground. I was like, "I've got like 600,000 like wrenches, like, and they're not expensive wrenches, like just Craftsman and stuff like that." I was like, let me just dump all these in here and I'll figure out what I want to do with them, because I've got, from working as a mechanic,
Right.
I've got a massive, double bay toolbox, and it's got everything that I could possibly need in there. So I've got all these extra tools that I just can't.
Got a question for you, Shizzy.
Mhm.
How many 10mm sockets do you have?
More than enough. Sort of. I've got, because working for Honda, I always had to use 10mm. I think I've got about 4 10mm sockets of different types.
That seems to be the one that everybody loses.
Yeah, I've got 10mm, 11mm. I've got all the wrenches up to 19mm. And if I start getting any larger than that, then it's probably going to need a blowtorch. I've got tools to take off crank bolts. I actually even have tools to work on a BMW. So if I ever need to set the timing on a BMW, I have those. So it's, that's where, my skills come in, and I always like to think, oh, I know so much, but then it's like, yeah, I don't know as much as I wish I did. And that's, like you guys were saying, that's where YouTube comes in. You're like, maybe someone's done this before. I mean, we had this issue in our bathroom where the door was hanging all cockeyed. And I was like, what in the hell is going on? And I got to the point where I was like about to rip everything out of there to fix it, because I thought the walls were caving in. I had no idea. I mean, they seemed like they were straight. Turns out there's just a little plastic piece that you put in the bolt, behind the bolt. And then whenever it sits, it rests up against it, because whenever they put the doors on, they don't have any spacer in there. They've got a gap so the door can move. So you take a small piece of plexiglass, you cut it off, put it behind the bolt, and in it, whenever you close it all up, it stays where it's supposed to stay and doesn't move. I was like, well, son of a bitch.
That's pretty ingenious, shall we say?
Yeah.
You never met my husband. He couldn't make a square angle if he tried. So we have all kinds of little oddities in the house.
I'm that way, y'all. Like mechanical ability is not my strong suit, right? Not even a little bit. I understand a little bit of like engineering. I understand how to like support a little bit of weight, because, well, mostly from like fish tanks. I've built a lot of like fish tank stands and that kind of thing. But I get in the weeds so quick when it comes to anything mechanical. Oh, we got all kinds of little oddities.
See, I can strip down an engine and rebuild it from bottom to top.
Oh, it must be nice.
Without a second thought. It might take me a couple of days, and if I have all the parts, and definitely it'll give me at least a good 12-hour job. But
I don't have those tools anymore. There was a time a couple of decades ago when I was fortunate enough to be able to do some racing, and I was working as a mechanic, and we were building race engines and so forth. But those were all naturally aspirated. The technology of vehicles now, it's all computerized. So if you don't have a computer with all the diagnostic tools to hook up to it, you don't know what the hell's going on with it.
Well, and I mean, even the naturally aspirated ones, you're still gonna need a computer to diagnose a lot of the issues that you run into. I mean, sometimes it's just a simple look and see. I mean, I've had cars that whenever I worked for Honda, they would come in and go, yeah, I get out driving, and on a warm day, and the car starts stuttering and stalling. I can't figure out what's going on, and you look down, you're just like, oh, one of your cooling fans isn't working, because one cools the engine, the other one cools the AC, or draws air across the AC. And they go, well, yeah, why would that have anything to do with it? I said, well, pressure builds up in your AC, makes it a struggle on the rest of the engine for the belt to turn the AC, because it's trying to pump hot air through there. Replace that fan, and next thing you know, it's running nice and smooth. I've seen catalytic converters get up to 6,000, 7,000 degrees because part of it broke off and clogged up the system. Just you have to have seen it before. And
We didn't have those things on race cars.
No, generally
Cars used
not.
to be a lot easier to deal with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh yes, they did. I mean, fuel, air, and spark. That's all you needed. And if you had a timing light, knew how to feeler gauges a set of points, you were good to go.
I can still do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't lose those skills. I had
Yeah.
I had a RX-7 that this guy was like, it runs like crap. I can't figure out what's going on with it. And I whip out the feeler gauge and I set his points on it, and I was like, there you go.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see,
Yeah.
I'm car illiterate. I can do an oil change, I can replace the battery and change a tire, and that's about it.
And that's more than 90% of males
Most
can
people.
do. I'm just talking about men, not most people, because then you decrease that average, because a lot of women just won't even bother looking at it under a hood. I'm saying most men won't even bother looking under a hood.
My husband
Oh, look
treated
at
me as
this.
an equal. He taught me how to use all his power tools. He taught me a little about the car.
What's up, expert?
Nice. Expert. He's like, right.
Experts here.
Yeah,
The
experts here. Look at
experts
this.
here.
I subbed, and here we are. Expert raid. Thanks, expert.
Nice.
Raid. Now, seeing that we've got this wonderful raid, you're going to see all of these people in the link. You got Fast Group down here. His link is in the description. All you have to do is just scroll down a little bit and make sure you've subbed to him. And then you've got,
Please.
of course, our wonderful Valhalla Waits over here in the corner.
That's
Make
me.
sure you sub to him. Yeah. Rabbit says if you sub to her, that she's going to mod for you and make sure that she tortures me with it, because
Rabbit's catching up to the wrench count. She might.
I'm
be
telling you, she's going to surpass you.
pretty quick.
Because you're gonna have to start giving up some of those. Well, you'll probably just keep the wrenches, but you've got to start putting out some more content, brother. Because you've got so much good stuff. You really do.
No, I'm not chasing wrenches. That's all your job, Val.
Hey, I'll take it.
So if anyone needs a mod, Val's the one to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Val is trying to become the new Rabbit in the mod world.
I started a little before Rabbit, I think, in the mod world.
Yes.
I think I did.
Oh yeah, you were a mod long time before me.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like to. So the modding thing, y'all. I just like to help
Likes
people,
color blue.
right? Well, I do like that
Yes.
too. But like if I can plug links and stuff, and it's. I'm not doing anything on big channels, y'all. When the big channels I get modded for, I don't hardly do shit. Right? It's the small
No.
channels that are. I try to take a little off their plate. Right? Like if I find a small channel and I can mod for them and take care of as much as I can while they're getting going, awesome. And then once they get going and they've got some mods that are established, and then I don't have to do shit. But I still like the color blue.
And I will tell you that Rabbit was such a lifesaver for me as a creator doing this stuff. It was like, I mean, as soon as I made her mod, she was like, she eliminated the porn bot stuff. She eliminated all the other issues I was running into. She was throwing up links, and I'm like, holy cow, this is what it's like to have a mod. It's like, wow.
If you keep trying to get people
Amazing.
to subscribe to me, you're going to get those bots back.
Hey, I told him, don't you dare, guys.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
Next thing you know, you'll be like Valhalla with 1,000 subs and no watch hours because he didn't put any content out.
I did put some out. It was just mostly shorts, which doesn't count for anything.
No, it don't
nobody
count
wants
for
to see your
shit.
shorts.
I don't know. The
Miss
ladies here
Valhalla
do.
does. Miss Valhalla does.
I'm telling you, some of the ladies here, I guarantee you, if it was just him out in the yard working in a pair of shorts, they would just watch for hours. I guarantee you. They'd just be like, Valhalla. He's out there doing manly things.
Why are you mean mugging me through the door? I said, Miss
She's
Valhalla
watching the
does.
stream.
She came and opened that door. She said, huh? What are you talking about?
What's this
No,
about
when
you
I-
in your shorts?
When I first decided to give this a try, and I was actually putting some stuff out, it was Shizzy, Valhalla, Kaiser, and Mighty Meat that really helped me out. I mean, Shizzy, first time I talked to him, he sent me a damn camera.
He did. He did.
You
Yeah.
know, I mean, and you guys have helped me out a bunch. I haven't been putting anything out. There's a lot I've wanted to put out, but because of the internet problem and the fiasco that I had a few months ago, it just kind of like turned me off, and I turned my attention to other things. I don't know.
Well,
Anyone of
Well,
you
and
guys?
here's a thought for you, Fast Group, because I know that you have issues with your internet. You can always
I'm going to step out for a
if
minute. I'll be back.
all right, brother, definitely. So one of the things, and this is advice from someone that's dealt with like really crappy internet before. Record it onto StreamYard, and you can upload it from StreamYard onto YouTube. And that way you're putting content out there. There'll be videos, but you can do premieres for them. You can even do that from YouTube. You can pre-record it on StreamYard and then upload it onto YouTube.
I don't.
So
I don't think with my version of StreamYard I can record.
you should have a small period of recording that you should be able to do. If not, you can always pre-record it and just release it through, like you can pre-record it on a phone if you wanted to. No different than you would do a short. You just do a longer version of it and then upload it into YouTube, and there you go. You've got your content. You know, especially if you know there's things that you're wanting to cover, just sit down with your phone, record it, and you know get your point out there and upload that piece in there, and it'll show up as a premiere. You'll really get some good content, and it'll also give you a chance to look back at it and say, maybe I need to edit this a little bit. You know,
Right. Yeah, I'll look
you
into
know,
that.
yeah, especially if you're having problems with internet, then you get some really nice clean streams that come rolling up. See, look at that. The elephant. Valhalla awaits. You should strap on a GoPro on you and go take us on your daily chores on the farm. Some people have no clue what kind of work that a running farm is. That is very true. He absolutely could do that.
Yeah, you could. There's people out there that do basically just that. You know, just show what they're doing on a daily basis, and people watch it.
Absolutely. I mean, and got to go. Thank you, Gutters Pub. I appreciate you coming by. And if you guys haven't given her, you know, shown some love to her, please do. I mean, she's out there, you know, on a regular basis. She's doing the same thing that pretty much you are. Fast Group, as far as, you know, she's using the free version of StreamYard. She just enjoys putting out content and talking with people and having a good time.
I'll have to go check that out and
yeah.
and sub to that channel.
Yeah, she's good people, very good people.
And I've noticed I've noticed a lot of people in the comments say they've subbed to everybody, and I just want to thank everybody for doing that. If you've subbed to my channel, I appreciate it. I will start getting more content out sometime here in the near future. One of the things that I just did, I don't think you know it. I don't think Valhalla knows it. He's
No.
away. I just,
He can hear you though.
okay, good. I just finished Andrew Branca's instructor program, so I became an instructor graduate for the law of self-defense.
Oh, that's
And
right.
That's one of the things that I'm wanting to work into my classes, my firearms classes and stuff. I started studying that kind of stuff years ago, and really didn't have. I mean, this was before the internet, before YouTube, and all that kind of stuff. So going to the local law library, trying to look stuff up, doing it, from a layman's perspective, and then had quite a hiatus and started getting back into it 5-6 years ago, something like that, and I came across Andrew Branca, started learning a lot from him. I took his what's the advanced course, level 1 course back then, 3 years ago, when I took my first 8-hour course from him. And then I did the instructor program this year because I wanted to work it into my firearms classes, because and I think this kind of dovetails into the topic, that there's a lot of instructors out there, not only firearms instructors, but even martial arts instructors, who are teaching people how to go straight to freaking jail.
Yes, I would agree with that 100%.
Because they don't know anything about self-defense laws, and what little they do know is wrong, and that's what they teach their students.
Yes, and it's not uncommon. I mean, there's a buddy of mine, his uncle, I think his uncle, has a pretty large acreage of land, and he's I want to say he was a Navy SEAL, and he just does this stuff off on his own property, but he has a lot of police officers come out and train at his facility. He would say it's amazing how poorly these guys are trained.
Oh, yeah.
Just in general, just even keeping themselves safe. He's constantly having to stop the training, just like, that's improper use of a firearm. Don't do that, and like get them under control. But it's become worthwhile for the these police officers to have that extra bit of training that a lot of people miss out on. Just because of bad instructors.
Yeah, and I'm saying this as a former law enforcement officer. The training that you get is in firearms is low bid, if you know what I'm saying. The bar is so low because the institutions and academies want to make sure they have a zero failure rate.
Yes.
You can't have a zero failure rate and competently train people who, are cadets these days, or they didn't grow up with firearms like I did. I was hunting and trapping when I was in high school. Yeah, I was one of the guys that had a rifle and a shotgun in the back of my vehicle in the school parking lot. And if you got a new one, you told one of your teachers that, hey, come out and look at my new shotgun. It's like, hey, come over here and look at my new shotgun.
Yeah, it was. That was.
And there were no school shootings.
No, it wasn't abnormal for even where I was in New Mexico in high school in the 80s. It was not uncommon for people to have a rifle and a shotgun sitting in their car. And God bless if you ever went and broke into their car during the damn day. It's like you're probably not, it just wasn't something that people would do.
No,
there was a little bit more respect shown, and we're talking about at the height of all of gangs and crap like that. I don't think the gangs are as prevalent. It's just just silly people doing really silly things that have no respect for other people's property. So
Well,
you know, who knows?
There's been at least one generation that has been raised that has been indoctrinated to the fact that they don't need to be held accountable for their actions, that it's okay to do these things. You shouldn't expect anything out of yourself. Society should give it to you. So they just don't care.
Broke. And you didn't have to. They weren't locked. Exactly.
True.
Exactly.
And granted, I did go to a really, really small country school, so that probably had a lot to do with it too, but it was just a different mindset. Hell, when I was in the 6th grade, I was in a play about the Revolutionary War. I took, and I still have the gun today, because we had to bring our own props. I took a 410 bolt action shotgun on the bus to school and used it in the play as a prop.
Yeah. It wasn't uncommon.
No.
But you were also practicing firearm safety, and
and not only that,
a lot of people don't know what that is anymore.
The teachers also knew firearm safety, and they would make sure your gun was unloaded before you went out, onto the stage, slinging it around everywhere.
And see, our school actually had a class for gun safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every middle school in America should teach gun safety.
I don't think it's a responsibility of the schools to teach any sort of gun safety.
I do.
Personally, I think all the schools should be teaching is you reading, writing, arithmetic. That's pretty much what they should be teaching. If they took it back down to those core basics.
But you left one out.
I would like to interject briefly, sir.
Civics, yes. Thank you.
As far as gun safety in the schools, seeing where the education system has gone, I don't know that I would want that, to be completely honest with you.
I wouldn't either.
If I'm gonna, if somebody's gonna look, if I don't have any kids, obviously, but if I did, I'm gonna teach them gun safety before anybody does. You know what I mean?
You don't have any small goats?
Well, I got a couple that I'd still call kids. Yeah.
See how
I think that the schools have become this basically a glorified babysitter, and I think that we should cut some of that out and get back to parents taking a little bit of responsibility for the actions of their children and having that community. I mean, I can remember as a kid raising hell and having a neighbor snag me up and spank my ass. I mean, you're not going to do that. You need to stop and going home and telling my mother, oh yeah, and then getting it there too. Yeah.
No, you don't go home and tell your parents.
Yeah, I learned.
Smacked by a neighbor's parent.
That's what I'm saying. I learned. I was like, I ain't going home. I ain't saying anything.
You
I got in
just hope
trouble.
that parent didn't come down and tell your parents, look, I had to discipline your kid. Shit, here it goes again. But no, I mean, my point to that, and hear me out.
Yeah, you cut out.
Oh, we'd love to. We'd love to.
We'd
Tony.
love to. Oh, Tony.
Not to put words in his mouth, and hopefully
he wanted to talk about having civics lessons.
Was it civics or gun safety?
No, civics.
Okay,
civics.
He was talking about. That was one of the things that he was really wanting to have. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to. He's still there. As soon as I see him moving again, I'll bring him back up, so that way it doesn't look freaky.
It wasn't a great pause face.
No, it wasn't a great pause face.
And Val, I agree with you. They shouldn't teach gun safety now in schools. Back then, it was everyone went hunting, even city kids.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I remember it exactly when I was in school, but it wasn't too long before me when hunting season would come and the kids would have all their rifles in their trucks ready to go right after school.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It wasn't that long before my time.
And that's in Illinois. I mean, come on. You know, it's changed so much that, you know, I think there's certain things that parents should be teaching. If they don't know how to teach, there's people there that will actually help them. And we've sort of relied on government to become this big nanny that takes care of all of the ills, and they'll do it through the school system, through hospital system, and you know, some of these things don't need to be taken to that level. It just sort of drags everybody else down. A little self-sufficiency, and that's, you know, part of what I wanted to do this about, is that self-sufficiency of, you know, yeah, I may not know how to here what's a good one. I may not know how to weld, but you know, John down the street knows how to weld, and I can like, you know, can him some food and give that to him for his family over the winter,
Yep.
because you know, he welded up this little random piece of, you know, machinery. And I had someone like saw that I had a welding rig and was like, hey, can I get you to fix something on my lawnmower for me? I was like, yeah, just bring it by. And he brought it by and I welded it up. It took me all of like 2 minutes. And he goes, how much do I owe you? I was like, no, you don't owe me anything. I'm not, you know, that it doesn't cost me to do anything for like this. This is like,
Someday I may ask you to return the favor.
well, and then he was just like, well, I feel like I owe you something. I was like, no, just spread it to somebody else. I go, you know, go mow your neighbor's lawn now. Whatever.
That's something that sense of community is kind of a talking point that we've had all night, right? You can't do this by yourself, and
No.
I don't care
Right.
who you are, you just can't. And that
And that's
sense of
something that Fast
community,
brought up. Yes.
yeah, that sense of community is something that we're seriously lacking today, and I think that it's becoming more and more important as it gets further and further away from the norm.
And
Right.
see, like, friends of mine let me borrow their tractor, and I hem their clothes for them if they need it, sew buttons on, help alter if something doesn't fit them right.
See,
Yep.
isn't that just, and you get it, you're not looking for an equal value. And that's the thing about it, because it is an equal value, but you're not sitting there. If I would have told that guy, yeah, give me $20, it's like, you know, what am I going to do with $20? I mean,
Well, and you're I'm with you, right? Like they're to expand on your point. It's not equal value. To expand on that point, don't. That's not a good mindset to have, right? Like if you're keeping tally, I don't care if it's with your neighbor, if it's
right.
with the guy down the street, if it's with
That's
your
what-
spouse, keeping a
That's what I mean.
tally and trying to like make sure that everything is doled out perfectly evenly. That's not a good way to
No.
go about
No,
life
and
in general.
that's my point. It's like, what good would it
Yes.
have done me to say $20? I felt that it gave me more to have him go, you know what, my lawnmower works now. I can go over and I'll you know what, he said, why don't I go mow my neighbor's lawn? He goes and mows his neighbor's lawn, and next thing you know, dude's coming out and going, hey, you know, if you could do this, you know, once a month for me, I would be more than happy, because it wasn't a small mower. It was one of those like 20 or what, 40-inch double bladed, 4-bladed mowers. But he was having problems with the shifter on it or something, and I just welded it back together. You know, it's not, and for him to actually go and purchase that part, it might have cost him several hundred. And if I'm not mistaken, he was mowing his mother's lawn or something like that whenever it failed, because he does that for her on a regular basis, and he's not charging her for it. You know, it just having a little bit of courtesy and common, you know, decency to other people is what I think that can really build our society up. But this constant trying to tear people down and do something with his hair. I'm not wearing my my headphones. That's what it is. You know, I picked up a little Bluetooth adapter and I've got plugged in, so I've got earbuds in.
Oh yeah, what you usually wear the little Irish hat, don't you?
No, I got
Little cabbie
an Irish
hat.
hat. No, I'd normally wear these.
Okay. Don't you usually wear a little Irish cap like Levi's was wearing
I
today?
muted it.
Oh, okay. He didn't want to hear me.
Does he have one of those too? Yeah. Let's see. I got. How about this? That look a little better. Back in the day, whenever I would run sound,
Crown. At Crown. Okay. Okay.
Crown Sound Systems. Yeah. Does that look a little bit better? I look a little smoother. I could always get, like my grandfather always had. It's how my
That's
grandfather
good.
always wore his hat. Every time I'd see him, he'd have his hat turned just like that.
Well, the sun's usually on one side of you, so that makes perfect
Exactly.
sense. Makes perfect
Yeah.
sense. Oh,
No,
that's
I mean
funny.
my grandfather, he had a rather large farm. And then he sold a lot of it off. But at the time he would rent things, he would rent the parcels out for people that wanted to plant crops, and then they would sometimes pay him to come out and like till the field or something like that instead of having to get a tractor out there. And they would just pay him to basically handle the farm for him, and that's what he would do. But also, he ended up with a contract with the county, and he would cut down trees, and he would sell the county would actually pay him to cut down the trees, and then whatever he wanted to do with the wood he could. And so he would cut these trees, he would season them. He had probably about 2 acres of wood that was cut. He would spend most of his summer just cutting the wood, circulating it around, seasoning it, and then in the winter, like late fall, he would go around and deliver wood to people and get paid for delivering the wood. So I mean, he would just like making money while running a farm. And if something like one of his tractors, I was home on leave, and he was like, yeah, I can't figure out what's wrong with my tractor. And I walk over, and he was just like, it just won't start. I've changed out the battery. I've checked the starter. The starter's good. And so I just, simple diagnostics. I found he had a broken wire and replaced the wire, and, it would start again. But, he goes, man, I've been trying to figure that out for like past 3 months. I was like, well, why didn't you ask Johnny up the street that he's a mechanic? He would have come over and fixed it. He was like, yeah, but you're here. That's fine. Wow, you guys all got quiet. Did I say
Sorry,
something?
I got distracted.
Oh, hey, Max. You take care of yourself, brother.
Yeah.
Note on barter versus IRS. Don't know if it's a significant issue amongst homesteaders. Just be prudent about discussing your own personal biz. IRS is sizing up.
So Max Murrah sent me a message, and he was expressing concern that while we're discussing these topics of raising chickens, getting eggs, getting a couple extra eggs, sending them to the neighbor, etc. He was saying that the IRS may develop that as a potential tax evasion situation, which I don't know how they would possibly enforce it, even if they did. But that's what he's talking about there, and I didn't get too far into the message, but I think I got the gist of it, Max, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it makes sense. No, it's that's the thing. The IRS, yes, they always want to get their little piece of something, but if you're doing something as a like exchange, they generally are not going to give you too much of a hard time with that.
Well, but to Max's credit, they did just hire 86,000 new armed IRS agents, which I don't really understand.
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
Well, good.
Okay. So I can tell you that whole deal because I'm kind of close to it. I used to work for a certain academy. Anyway, that is projected over 10 years.
You said you didn't live on a farm.
I don't live on a farm.
The farm?
Yeah,
condominium?
it
Yeah,
ain't that
okay.
farm.
was-
It ain't
was a
that farm.
joke. It was a joke.
I got it. I got it. But that was projected over 10 years, number one. It was projected over 10 years because they also saw the rate of attrition of retirement losing very close to that number over the next 10 years. There's relatively small percent of IRS agents that are armed. Most of them are auditors or whatever the hell they do.
Bean counters.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
bean counters. My point is why they have any armed agents. They shouldn't, in my opinion. Just like the 20 that they went to Montana to raid that gun store while the ATF sat out in the parking lot. And, they were on the warrant, which, what does our Fourth Amendment say? Unless by warrant or affirmation on the exact things to be seized. They were looking for their financial statements. They didn't take their financial statements. They took every one of their Form 4473s and turned it over to the IRS or turn it over to the ATF.
Then why were they even involved?
No shit.
They shouldn't
That's why
have been.
that's why the representative in Montana is livid over it.
As he should be.
Yeah.
I just want to say that is such a lovely picture. If that's just Dawn, that is a lovely picture of Dawn.
You've
I
seen
like-
Just
I
Dawn,
like-
haven't you?
I've never seen her in person. No.
Oh no. Well, not in person, but like I've streamed with her before.
I
Just
have-
On, Just On is gorgeous. She's absolutely gorgeous. Oh yeah.
And
Libby
see,
did
I'm
well.
not into redheads, but I might
job,
make an
Libby.
exception on that.
Libby did well.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
I don't know. I don't know if you guys have really been watching anything about. I know we're getting off topic here about
No.
what this administration has done with the weaponization of the ATF. I mean, they're getting smacked down in every court they go to. But one of the things that Biden administration did, they changed the rules of the ATF. So they've now because as an FFL, you have a compliance inspection every however many years they decide to come out and do a compliance inspection. Well, they used to have a process that if you had done something wrong, a clerical error, I mean, there's a lot to having to keep the books and what you got to know and do and all this kind of crap to be an FFL. It's kind of overwhelming because you got to be a damn lawyer to figure out all the shit you got to do.
Oh yeah. Or you
Plus-
just gotta hire one.
Plus, you're doing your job as, in my case, my main gig is gunsmithing. I do custom manufacturing, custom builds, but it's mainly gunsmithing, refinishing, fixing guns, that kind of stuff. But in the Biden administration, they changed the policy to a zero tolerance policy. So it says if you have one error, they take your license. And if you look at the numbers, this last fiscal year, they have taken more FFL licenses. They've closed FFL business, and mostly small ones, more than in the last 17 years.
I believe that.
They're going.
Yeah, I
at-
mean,
they're losing on every front at the Supreme Court and the appellate court levels on gun control. So now they're just going after the people that can make and sell you guns.
Yes, and I mean that's there's a reason.
And I've trained ATF
uh,
agents how to shoot.
Well, there's a reason why they want to squash down on this, and because it's political pressure, and whenever you get a bunch of people that want to make something scary, well, they're going to make something scary. If they eliminated all of the firearms in the United States, the next thing they would have to go after is kitchen knives. I mean, they're going to make a deal out of something because, well, that's what politicians do. They've got to have some sort of thing to run on for their next election because, geez, it's pretty impressive that you can lock down an entire country, cause people not to make any money. By gosh, they still get their paycheck every damn month. Isn't that weird how that works?
Hey, is that David, MLS Law Show?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's
Jumping in,
David.
awesome.
My good buddy
Awesome.
David.
Yeah, I love
Oh,
watching
you're
this
late in
stuff.
Flux. That's
He's-
okay.
If you guys
Flux
ever
is
get the
awesome.
if you guys ever get the opportunity to stream with MLS, do it. The man is amazing. He's
Oh, I'd love to, but
he's amazing.
here's the thing.
Yeah,
he
MLS
cannot,
was over here.
he cannot wear that hideous yellow frickin' tie.
That is a horrible looking tie. Yes,
Listen,
we watch your
listen.
streams, MLS.
Listen,
Love
his
you, David,
tie
but I'm
wasn't
just
that
saying.
bad. His jacket was a little dark, in my opinion, for a yellow tie. I think that's what the problem was with the tie. Otherwise, I think the tie was just fine.
No yellow tie looks good ever.
Oh, I'll disagree a little.
I don't know. I can rock a yellow
Yeah.
tie pretty well.
I'm pretty
I don't
sure
know.
I've got a yellow tie in there that I look pretty good at.
And from the
Yeah.
video, it looked like it was a knit tie from the 1970s. I'm not sure, but it's what it looked like to me.
Well,
I'm
you
old.
see
my
now,
eyes-
now you've convinced him he's only going to ever stream with a tie from now on.
I expected no
Oh,
less.
that's funny. That's funny. Hey, Wolfram, how are you?
Hey. So does Chad have any questions for our panel? Anything that they would like to ask him?
Anything that
Yeah, I
we
feel
would-
free.
didn't
I'd
quite.
love to be. I'd love to stream with MLS. one
He's
time.
awesome.
Yeah.
He's really
Yeah.
awesome.
Same here.
He's such
Same
a
here.
bro. MLS is such a bro, y'all.
He is. I
And
mean,
again,
I-
my only education in law is defense law. So I'm not a lawyer, but
Play one on
I
TV
have
every
no
once in a while.
education. I have no education in law except for what I learned while I'm doing paralegal work. And that
self-defense
is
law. I
nothing
should
but
have said.
mine is a bunch of title work and barments and quitclaim deeds and crap like that, warranty deeds.
Fun.
Yeah, property. Dirt law is it pays the bills. But I'm not a lawyer. I just work for one.
Somebody's
All
got
the
to
time. All the time, 24/7. I'm married to my job.
Literally.
Literally.
Hey, you know
So-
what, Shizzy?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but
Whenever we wrap this up and we talk after the show, remind me to ask you
Yeah.
a question about that.
sure, absolutely. I'm more than happy to do that. Oh, what was that? Doing property law, song bits, Laura. Property law. Yeah. My wife. Yeah, go ahead.
Was there? I was gonna. Shizzy said briefly in there that if there's any questions, y'all, if you got any questions, anything that the four of us may be able to kind of assist you in or answer for you, now would be the time. Just making
So,
sure that
did
point
he
got out
waive
there.
his right to a speedy trial?
That's what I heard
Yeah.
today. I didn't see it.
haven't
but
Did he?
I heard he did.
I haven't even been following that case. That was the guy that killed those 4 people in Pennsylvania or Utah or something, then tried to help the investigation or some shit like that.
Where the hell is Idaho? In Idaho.
Idaho,
I know.
Yeah. And allegedly, sir. Allegedly.
allegedly. My bad.
Allegedly. Always allegedly.
But yeah.
Until they're
yeah, that's-
convicted of it's alleged.
So the big thing was up to this point, the big thing was that he wasn't going to waive his right to speedy, right? Because he wanted to clear his name and blah, 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 blah. And then last minute today, apparently he waived the right to speedy. Kind of's got my hairs tingling that he's playing games in the court. He knows what
Yeah.
he's doing.
Oh yeah, I don't think he's unintelligent. I'm
No,
pretty sure that
this dude might be like one of those super genius.
Most
I don't
serial
know about
killers
that.
are.
He might be.
I'm not saying he's super genius, but I think that he knows enough.
He's in
that
he's in a
that he's
PhD
gonna
program,
muddy it up.
right? Isn't it
Yeah,
PhD program
just-
for like criminal justice, criminology?
Just
Isn't
being
that
a
what he's doing?
PhD doesn't mean anything. All right, think about this. Think
It
about
means you
this.
ain't stupid though.
Well, all right, think about this. How many lawyers do you know
Several.
in real life? I'm not talking about like in the YouTube scene. I'm talking about in
Oh.
real life. How many attorneys do you know?
A handful.
A handful. Okay, so you know a handful.
I know
And
a
how many
handful.
of those handful would you say are top of their class?
I don't know that that being top of your class makes you a genius. I don't know that.
I'm just saying they're all attorneys.
I
They
don't
all have
know.
a juris degree. They all are have a JD.
The point I'm
Every
making,
single
though,
one of them.
sir, is I don't know that school accomplishments equates to IQ scores.
No, that's exactly my point.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
just because he has he's in the PhD program does
Well-
not mean that. So is what's his name? Touchdown paper. Well, Brady. He was in the PhD program too.
Yeah, but he also, he might have been intelligent before he broke his brain. The Matthew Harris is who we're talking about
The
there.
Matthew Harris. Thank you. Yes, Matthew Harris. He's PhD.
Not Matthew Harris, the Matthew Harris.
The
Sir.
Matthew Harris. Thank you very much.
Oh, touchdown on paper, on Brady.
There is a difference. Some are only book smart enough to pass.
Agreed.
One thing
Yeah,
about Brian Koberger,
Yes,
he
ma'am.
learned from Ramslin, who is a leading authority on serial killers.
Well, she's got some weird stuff in her background too, though, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
she's got some weird relationship with somebody in particular, BTK.
BTK.
Yeah, it's. But that also could just be the media putting out, propaganda.
Yes.
All right, my question is he gone through 6 lawyers?
Has he gone through 6 lawyers?
Like
Sarah Boone. Is that
Well,
what it is?
Sarah Boone, you saw what came out on that one.
I
latest.
caught just a brief moment of MLS and Chandler doing a stream about it earlier, right before we started.
Oh my
So
God.
I didn't get to pay
her.
super.
The
close
attorney is
attention,
like
but
put in a motion to withdraw because he was
Like,
just
she-
like
she
because
hired a
he's like-
private investigator to track down the lawyer, if I'm not mistaken. MLS,
Yeah,
correct me
he's-
if I'm wrong. That just happened, right?
oh my God. Yeah, that was so insane because it's just like, yeah, she's a hot mess. Absolutely. So get this. All right. The lawyer says, I don't have enough time in my day, night, and weekends to take care of the needs. No lawyer will be able to satisfy the needs that she has because
Right.
she just is out of freaking control. God, I saw that on Twitter. I was like, oh my freaking God, that's hilarious.
Her man apparently couldn't satisfy those needs either, so he got locked in a suitcase.
Well, he was a man. If you're small enough to fit in a suitcase, you're not very big in the first place. Just saying.
Yeah,
That's a
Wolfram
YouTube
brought up a point. I don't think Valhalla was there today, but I know you and I, Shizzy, were both following. And I had never even heard of what it
Radix Verum?
yeah, I had
Radix?
never heard of
Oh
her.
yeah.
She's cool.
Oh, I've been following her for quite some time.
Yeah, well, I
think
had
I've
never
been on
heard
a
of
stream
her
with her once.
until today. I think I was watching some Legal Vices, and he dumped us into that stream. And
Yep.
I remember when this whole thing went down, seen it in the news about all these white supremacist militia, people planning to kidnap Whitmer and all this kind of stuff. And then I never heard anything about it afterwards. I didn't know there had already been a couple of trials.
No.
And until
No,
today.
and
and I learned a bunch today watching that trial. And I plan to be on there again tomorrow to learn more about it. But this, I mean, I knew when I first heard it, there was talk about, it was an FBI setup and all that kind of stuff. Man, I was educated a lot today watching that stream.
Way. Sure seems that way.
Oh, the defense attorney can't even use the word entrapment. Can't even bring it up. The lead investigator was on it. Has been fired for some. So now the guy that the guy that was in charge of basically bringing these guys in beat his wife and had the cops called on him while he was pumped up on roids and drunk or some crap like that.
There was some weird stuff about like swinger parties with that dude, right?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
And it's weird that they can't bring this guy up in the trial.
Well, they can, but
they don't want that narrative out there.
No, that would hurt the state's case.
It would absolutely destroy the state's case.
Wow, did I lose all you guys?
No. You're here. I see you.
No, good.
Yeah.
Everything froze up for a second.
You did a max headroom thing there for a second, but it's all good. It's not like me, I just all of a sudden get erased for a while.
Whenever you froze up, you had a bad freeze up where it looked like you were howling at the moon. So I was like, I think
I was probably screaming a 4-letter word.
Just one? Amateur.
Just one? Yeah, exactly. we have at least 5 or 6 of them that come running out.
I have one, but it lasts for a very long time.
Well, it was lasting about 2 minutes. That's a long breath. That
exactly. Exactly. But so I mean that trial is something that
this trial right now, Songbits Laura, this trial is currently happening. It's happening over. I think Reliance is the only one showing it.
Has it started?
Yes, she's the only one showing it.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. A lot of people don't know anything about it. I mean, I blasted it out on YouTube, Discord, Twitter. Like, are you guys even watching this?
I was actually thinking today when I was watching that show, because it's Michigan, I was wondering why David wasn't actually covering that trial or watching it. I don't know if he's got other stuff going on, but I mean,
well, if it's
Michigan lost,
it could be, there's certain things you want to cover, you may not want to cover.
Yeah, that's true.
Who's showing it?
There you go.
Radix Verum. Radix Verum is showing it.
I will plug her link. I will get there.
Yeah, just
because that girl's awesome.
In there.
She
okay. I've got a question though. What does Radix Verum mean? Is that Latin for something?
It's Latin. Yeah, it's Latin, but I couldn't tell you what it means off the top of my head. She said it before. You'd have to go back to one of her earlier streams of what that actually means. It's like Shizzy Wiznut is totally made up.
Yeah.
So.
Who'd have thunk?
And it has nothing to it long before what's his name, Snoop Dogg. It was long before that. It's a shizzy is a short way of saying shit. So, Shiza. So there you go. Yeah, see, Radix Verum, Nandor Manspun got it up right there. So there it is.
Well, good. I don't have to plug it in that one. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, and she's starting tomorrow again at 9:00.
Yes, she'll be starting up again at 9:00. Songbits Laura. Yes, definitely go check that out. And she's actually doing a documentary on these guys that were charged with this. She's been busting her ass for the past, I want to say, year and a half, 2 years, like covering this and trying to get the information, being locked out. She's been traveling, and she's got like a GoFundMe and her own channel that's dedicated to putting this documentary together. And what I've seen, it's been really damn good. Let's see if I can pull it up, because she said please share that out. And I'll actually pull it up here.
Yeah, I don't know why the whole nation and all of mainstream media is not all over this. Well, I know why mainstream media is not all over this.
Yeah,
because they're all getting paid. That's why.
Well, because a certain 3-letter alphabet soup company has been stepping all over their crank lately, and they're being exposed for it.
Give me a second. I'm gonna find that, because where is it? Yeah, you guys go ahead and talk for a minute while I pull this up. There we go. I found it.
I'm good, because
Well-
I was just about to tell you that I had to go make a little stop at the little boys' room.
Yeah, go make your stop.
I'll be quick. I'll be right back.
And I'll post it in here so you guys can see it there, and I will put it in private chat so you can post it on your channels. So that way we can sort of get that out, and I will. And she's cute too, so that makes it even better. So let me present this here so you guys can see this window.
Now, who's actually doing the coverage on that? Because it's not Law and Crime, it's not Court TV or anybody. So
I think it's just local thing. Don't know who it is.
Radix Ferum's covering the trial. I think today was day one.
Yeah, today
Yes,
was day one.
day one.
Who's covering it, Rabbit?
I think
Radix, this girl is covering it.
she's watching it, but I think it's local stations carrying it.
All right,
Oh,
yeah.
let me share this, guys, so you can actually see.
And you know,
All right, here we go. Hey, hold up, just chill.
Hello, everyone. I am sharing a short clip. It's some behind the scenes footage that I shot for my documentary, Kidnapping Kill an FBI Terror Plot, which is about the FBI's Governor Whitmer kidnapping hoax. Is with Eric Molitor. He's one of the defendants. I interviewed him and his mom, Sue. And while I interviewed them, I had the chance to watch Eric with his 2 children, who are lovely. And I thought you guys would like seeing him with his family, because these men are family men, unlike how they've been portrayed by the government. And so I just wanted you to be able to see that, and I wanted to be able to share it with you.
Is there closed captioning?
You guys enjoy.
Like, do it again. Let's do it again.
All right, so kids, tell me a little bit about your dad. What do y'all do together?
Oh.
Like,
I don't.
is he silly?
We're spoiled.
Hold on. Let Aiden go first.
He's half % silly, half % normal. like 50% silly and 50% normal. Dad wants us to have some exercise, but I don't. But I like go for bike rides and go to the woods and go camping. But I'm not a camping guy. Because you say you're allergic to bugs, but you're not.
Let him
I'm
talk.
allergic
Let
to
him
bug
talk.
bites, like mosquito bites.
Yes,
So,
he
yeah.
is. Zoe, don't argue with him, baby. It's me.
Not. But I enjoy is Dad has taken us to the Y. We normally do bike rides together, which I like. Aiden hates it. We go to church.
Every Sunday we go
make-
to church.
Almost.
Ian.
It's gonna rain gumballs today, everyone.
Me and Dad just Beyblade a lot, but until Dad got something really, really hot. I'm
No,
sorry.
buddy, it cut me. It didn't burn me, baby.
It cut him. Oh, what was the question?
How much fun do you have with your dad?
Oh,
Variety. It can fit a 1 million story hotel.
Parts of Hyperion.
And that's one of the defendants, right?
Yeah.
Shizzy, you're muted.
Yeah, that's I think it's Eric Molitor. I think it's the what's his name? But I did want to ask if David's still in here from MLS is if the FBI was involved in this and they set it up and it's obviously an entrapment case, why is this in a state court and not in a federal court?
Shizzy, you're muted.
Nah,
because it's already been in federal court.
These three defendants have already been in federal court?
Yes, I believe so. And then
why are they in a? No, then they wouldn't be having a trial in a state court. They'd be in prison.
No, I mean I'm saying the federal court the federals already lost part of the case. Here, let me she explains this stuff a little bit more. There's multiple cases going on with this, okay? It's not just this particular one.
Earlier today, Attorney General Dana Nessel was joined by officials from the Department of Justice and the FBI to announce state and federal charges against 13 members of 2 militia groups who were preparing to kidnap and possibly kill me.
We're grateful to the FBI and law enforcement who discovered these domestic terrorists and stopped them. You know, it's the sort of behavior you might expect from ISIS.
You might see a number that high in a sprawling narcotics conspiracy that stretches from coast to coast and beyond. That's a pretty high number in a case like this. It really reflects, I think, how deeply the government has been diving into this investigation to try to make these cases.
It was just literally a bunch of working class guys who on the weekend got together and, you know, exercised their rights and trained with firearms. So the FBI says, hey, we'll just pay for everything.
Who arranged the meeting? The FBI's paid provocateur. Robeson was getting paid to set this stuff up.
So they make the route, they set the locations.
Robeson was the one fired.
Everything, and Adam's literally just sitting in the basement of the vacuum repair shop smoking blunts all day.
You're going to hear that my client was the leader of this group. But I think you're also going to hear that there was an election held to identify the leader, and it was Dana.
How can I frame this social situation to make this naive person appear to be a dangerous, violent terrorist? The whole goal was for the FBI to spend millions of dollars to create militia groups, record them saying offensive stuff, and then frame them in a fake conspiracy.
Yeah, what was it? Christina referred to it as the Fed napping.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's very bad because some of these guys have gotten off on the federal charges and now they're bringing these cases in state court. They've got because they have them going to other states. All right. Whenever you're crossing from state to state,
right,
carrying
that makes
firearms,
it a federal case. Exactly. But if they beat the federal
case, but each and every one of the states want to have their piece and take a crack at them also. And the judges are not letting them put up a proper defense. So they're blocking things. I mean, think about that. What happened with Alex Jones?
I don't know anything about Alex Jones.
You don't have to know anything about Alex Jones. All you had to do is watch 15 minutes of the court case and you would have seen exactly what was happening. As soon as he started defense, they were just like, you can't talk about that.
He got railroaded hard.
Yes. I have no idea about Alex Jones.
Oh, yeah. He got.
But my point is, where does the double jeopardy fall into this?
There is no double jeopardy.
Hold on.
If they've been acquitted in federal court.
Hold on. So me and MLS just did a stream last night, I think, about this dude Kaz Craffy, or we'll just call him
Craffy, yeah, the
we'll just call him
scumbag.
Scumbag.
Yeah.
So there's different jurisdictions, right? State court has their own charges. That's completely different than federal court, which has their own charges, and is also completely different than military court, which has their own charges. So
Right.
it's actually really, really common for dudes to get state sentences, and then as they're getting out of prison, to be charged federally for basically the same situation. It's a real common thing.
Right. I understand that. But
So
if the federal courts have already acquitted them, how are
states get a second shot?
Yes. States get a second shot at it.
And you're bringing up a very
here's-
valid point, sir.
Yes.
About double jeopardy and about how the federal government probably shouldn't be able to do what they're doing in a lot of these situations.
Well, again, that's just like the
Let me bring something up really quick, because this is sort of falls into it. Nandor says, "What the hell is up with courts lately railroading people?"
I don't think it's
always
lately.
been.
Yeah.
They've always been railroading people. The only thing is now there's more cameras in the courtroom. There's more people that are drawing interest and actually watching what's going on, and they're asking to be able to see what's going on in the courtrooms.
Yeah.
And this right there is where you can see the shady crowd that the defense is pulling, that prosecutors pull, that you get to see all of that in real time. Whereas
we all watch Bravely. We all
Yeah,
watch Bravely
because
just
everybody
lie
is-
his ass off. We all watched
because
it
it used
happen.
to this
there's
stuff
more
was
people-
this stuff was happening. This stuff was already happening, but you were taking the news's word for it. Unless it was a high profile case like OJ Simpson, nobody saw it.
All
It
you got was a
just-
2-minute
just-
soundbite.
Yeah, it was a
If you were
2-minute
lucky.
soundbite. Someone would come in and say this guy, why do you think so many people in the past, 10, 15 years have been released? Because they said, oh yeah, actually they didn't do it because, well, the DNA stuff that we had wasn't actually their DNA.
Weird.
We lost that.
We need big cameras in the federal court.
Absolutely.
I'm with you on that. Rabbit.
Absolutely.
Except if there's minors. Except if there's minors. That's the only way that I would say
Even
there doesn't need to be any cameras on minors.
Even if there's
Minors shouldn't be on the cameras. Minors shouldn't be on the
the other
camera.
direction though.
Yes, don't
Yeah.
put the camera on the minor, but we should still be able to hear the testimony.
Agreed.
Yes, agreed.
And there should be cameras in every freaking court
Agreed.
across the United States that is able to be streamed and shared so that everyone in this nation knows exactly what the fuck is happening in these courts.
Exactly
and
who
what
you're-
these
who you're
political
voting for.
prosecutors are doing. If it's open to the public, it's open to the public. Well, I can't travel to that Michigan court to sit in and listen to it, but I should be able to receive it on today's technology by streaming. And everyone should.
I only found that yes, there is tech to hide minors' faces and voices, but I can guarantee you that the courts, they're barely able to even get a freaking stream out without it lagging out because so many people are tapping into it because they don't know how to set up their internet.
Well, look at that stream today.
They don't know how to stream.
How horrible that video was.
Oh yeah, that's not on her. That's the actual
No.
stream
That
because
was
they don't have it. They don't have it streaming to a server. So if they had it streaming to a server, you'd have a little bit of a delay, and you'd be able to pull it off the server and not have any of that delay. But they're streaming it straight from the courtroom, and you're gonna lose that crap. So yeah, the tech is there to do it, but these courts are not going to pay to have that tech put in. That comes
They
down
don't
to people
have
like.
to. They don't have to. There's people that are willing to do it in almost every one of these cases. There's people,
Absolutely.
let alone law and crime and court TV. Like there's individuals that are perfectly willing to go set up a camera and
But here's
stream a court
the problem. But here's the problem with a lot of those people that will go in there. Yeah, you have plenty of people that want to go in there, but are they going to do it properly and not show the faces of the jury and like screw up that kind of
with
system?
the court order that'll get handled within the court.
Yeah, it'll get handled in the court, but it's already been streamed live. So I mean, there's that fine line that you run into.
You're acting like court TV and law and Cuck haven't shown jurors in the last year. Like they
Not saying
haven't
that- no,
broadcast
I'm
the
not saying
names of
they.
minors.
I'm not
And
saying that they haven't. I'm just saying that whenever you open it up for all of whenever you open it up for Mrs. Valhalla to go down there to be able to go down and stream it, is she going to be able to get it set up properly? You know, that's the only.
But even the big
she would probably do it better than half of Court TV could, I guarantee you. But there's still, you know, would you trust a man showing up down there in a Ukraine flag to film it for you?
I would trust you or me to do at least as good of a job as Court TV.
What would you trust? What's her name? Not Barry Weiss, but Lorenz. Would you trust her to do it?
But
I'm just saying. Would you?
I get what you're saying. You're saying you're bringing in malicious.
There needs to be safeguards.
Yes, and that's my concern
There
is the malicious intent that shows up. Yes, there's plenty of people to do it, but the people that are malicious and would do it just to foul up the thing. Imagine if you would have had all the people that were for Amber Heard coming down and wanting to film it. How they would have tried to screw that up, or for Kyle Rittenhouse, just to basically get the jury nullified.
But there's repercussions for actions, right? Like if you intentionally show a jury, maybe the first time you get away with it, the second time,
you're not going to get away with it multiple
wouldn't
times.
Wouldn't that be grounds for a mistrial?
That's my point. You end up with a mistrial. You have to start
It hasn't been for Court TV or for Law and Cuck. They've done it. They've done it several times. They've shown the jury. They've said minors' names on the air. And before this streaming thing was a thing, that wasn't something that had to be protected either. By the way, from way back in the day, that's all public information. We're talking
After
about
the
like
fact. After the fact. That's my point. Is I completely agree with you. Yes, there's a lot of people that could do it, but also, how are they going to make sure that it's done properly? And
you know what, David tonight made a great point in his conversation with Chandler MLS. Defendants' rights should take priority over victim rights.
Absolutely.
So when you're protecting the witnesses and the jury, that should take less precedence than the defendant himself or herself.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But here's another point that I think about. Okay, everybody's talking about, oh, well, you can't show the jury's faces, or you can't show whatever. It's a public trial. So if you walk into the courtroom, guess what? You're going to see the jury's faces. You're going to see whoever's on the stand. So if it's a public trial, what makes the difference? If you can see it in person, why can't you see it on stream?
What makes the difference? What makes the difference is whenever you get that many eyes on somebody, that you would have to sequester your jury every single trial, because as soon as their face is out there, people already automatically know, oh, this is neighbor John, and they're going to go down there and harass him. That's all they're trying to do is stop that kind of harassment. That's it.
Okay.
That's the only reason why.
But the only people that are going to see them are the people who are local that know them. You know,
I don't make the rules. I'm just giving you.
I'm 7 states away. If they stream the jury's faces, I don't know who the hell they are.
Exactly.
Well, here's so jury.
But if I went up there and sat in a
jury
courtroom, I
tampering,
could.
Witness tampering is a real thing that happens in a lot of gang-related, outlaw-related. You know, like this is a real thing. Like the mob, whatever. Criminal elements are going to do these things either way, right?
Yes.
Broadcasting it to the internet may implicate a slightly higher number of people than the local community would originally, but I think that it's these are all these safeguards that we're talking about are all, God bless it. These safeguards that we're talking about are already happening in the local courts. Like if I'm on trial for homicide, right? And Tony's on the witness stand, and Shizzy, my boy, who's also my brother in the gang, right, sees him on the stand. Shizzy's the real danger, not the weirdos on the internet. Like
Right.
it's, I think that we're all getting a little too
Wrapped around the axle.
Yeah, we're all getting
Yeah.
a little too wrapped in what's that stupid bubble wrap or whatever. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, bubble wrapped. We're too
Yes.
insulated. And,
Yes.
and I think I mean I'm with you. I think that personally all trials should be shown, and they shouldn't block any even of the gory stuff out. You know, the stuff that are like, oh, this might just be too much. Just like turn off the station if you don't want to see gore. Don't watch it.
I mean,
You know, that's
if nothing else, every trial should be streamed. If the cameras are only restricted to the attorneys, so that you can see and hear the frickin' shenanigans that some of these prosecutors do, or even
Yes.
some shady defense counsel.
Get wrecked
You know,
bravely.
if you know, if you don't
Yes,
show
get
the if
wrecked.
you don't show the jury, if you don't show the witnesses or the experts or anything like that, at least show the opposing counsels and what they say and do in the courtroom. That to me, because I don't have anything vested in any of these people that we're watching on these trials. I mean, whether
No.
this guy in Michigan goes to prison or not doesn't affect me. Okay,
But the outcome-
but what?
No,
but
no,
let me
but the
finish. Let me
outcome- but the
finish. Let
outcome
me-
does.
Let me finish, please. Whatever happens to them doesn't affect me whatsoever. But what I care about is the process that put them there. The process has to be fair. That's what we need to be able to see and hear.
I agree with you, but yes, what does happen to them does affect you. And,
Well,
and
maybe-
you
maybe
because
it doesn't- maybe it
because
doesn't-
here's
Go ahead.
I mean, immediately, yes, it does. It doesn't affect you as far as, you know, if Valhalla goes to jail for 100 years, it doesn't affect me physically. And I agree with you, the process of getting there. But for him to be prosecuted and for me to understand that this is going to happen to me. I mean, this is one of the most disturbing parts about this trial that's happening with these people that Radix is covering, is the fact that this is more of an intimidation, knowing that if all three of us are hanging out and one of us has Rabbit come hang out with us, and Rabbit's a Fed, all of a sudden, you know, we're part of a gang.
I
And
knew
then
it.
Rabbit says, "Oh, we've got to go capture this person over here." Not because I know Rabbit would never do this.
I knew it.
Rabbit
She's a
says-
glowy.
Not even close.
I might
Like
be. You
too
never
far over
know.
Rabbit. But
I'll be right back.
But for her to come back and say, hey, you know, we're all gonna do this thing, and then take control of it, and then, you know, all of us are sitting up there in front of a courtroom and cannot even mention that we knew that Rabbit was a glowy, that we knew stuff was shady, that they entrapped us in this because they brought the handguns and the weapons to us. Rabbit's loading us up with all these weapons to go do some nefarious deed, driving us to the location, dropping us off, getting us prepared to do this. We all get arrested, but we're not allowed to even bring that up. Yes, the process means a lot, but it's also an intimidation, because if they can do it to the three of us, which we seem like, you know, rather intelligent people, I don't think we're complete idiots. If they can do it to us and quiet
my
us,
moments, bro. I've got my moments.
what does that say about the next person that comes along?
No, absolutely.
What does that say?
agree.
Say
absolutely
that the
agree.
next person that comes along is going to get the same treatment, and it's an intimidation to make sure that the three of us don't get together, sit down, and have a beer and mock our government for something that they're doing that we all agree is stupid.
No,
What's to say that they don't come after us right now because we're sitting here having this discussion? Because they're going to make some
They
bullshit
wouldn't
up.
Russia. They wouldn't Russia. We'd all get arrested
Exactly.
right now.
My point is at the very least, regardless of the case, they should have cameras on the opposing counsels to record and show the people every shenanigan that they do, because we're seeing it in this case right now on I can't remember Christina
Radix Verum. Radix Verum.
Yeah, whatever. She's bringing this out, and we're seeing it because we saw the fact. Because when I first got on there today, when I came across it, it was like, the defense attorney was just found like a week or so ago that he can't even bring up the term entrapment, but their entire defense case was built on entrapment. That's like saying that you are involved in a use of force and your entire affirmative defense is self-defense. And then they say, well, you can't bring up self-defense. Well, self-defense is a case of admission and avoidance. You admit to it. So if you can't bring it up, what are you left with? The avoidance is gone. You're left with the admission.
And somebody asked what a glowy is. A glowy is somebody that is so obvious that they are an agent of the government. They are so obvious. I mean, you just look at them, you're just like, that guy looks like a cop, smells like a cop, acts like a cop, has all the language of a cop.
Got the haircut,
but they're trying
got
to
the
tell
sunglasses. Got
they're trying to tell me that it's that hipster, that you see in high school that is, wearing the ball cap and
It's somebody that looks like the expert.
I wasn't gonna say it, but damn it, you're right. Oh yeah, it's someone that looks like the expert, but is not the expert.
Yeah,
funny. That's exactly. So. You guys have no idea how funny that is.
That is so funny.
Someone will clip it.
When I first met Expert, so me and Expert have met in real life, right? We've hung out for an evening. We had a great time. But when I first met Expert, I was like, because he's kind of shrouded in secrecy. He doesn't really talk about exactly what's going on in his life most of the time, right? I was convinced he was a cop, y'all. I was convinced he was a cop. And I asked him, right? I was like, pretty sure you're a cop, right? And he was like, no, man, I'm not a cop. I'm a lawyer, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay. And then we were hanging out. And then like an hour later, I was like, still pretty sure you're a cop, man. He's like, nah, dude, not a cop.
I didn't realize he is an attorney.
He doesn't practice, but he doesn't practice.
Yeah, he's an attorney.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
I just got. I don't know which one of you. I think it might have been Shizzy was the one that told me to check out the Expert.
He's good people. I like him a lot.
Yeah, he is. He's
and
really
I went on.
People.
Yeah, and I caught one of his shows.
I ain't gonna do
parts of it
crimes
the
with
other
them,
night.
I promise you that much, but I like him.
What's that?
I'm not going to commit crimes with them, but I promise you that I like him.
I'm not going to commit crimes with anybody.
Yeah, some bits, Laura. I came from his channel. Yeah, Expert's good people. I mean,
Expert's my boy, y'all. I'm mostly picking on him a little bit, but Expert is my boy.
Oh, you have to. I mean,
he has an awesome no drama channel.
I love that dude. He's amazing. Yes. Him and David are probably the two people from YouTube that I talk to the most, to be honest. David, yes.
David.
You do spend a lot of time on his channel, don't you?
I've just recently found a lot of these guys like MLS and the Expert. I spent some time on one of his shows the other night, and just in the chat got to interact with him a little bit, And yeah, he's I you know, I like him. It's like, you know, once you get past that whole, you know, you got the
Glowy
meme
thing.
Yeah, you got the meme where the glasses and the hat
Yeah.
with whatever alphabet soup agency looking over the hedges. That's him. They got that meme from him.
100% Joe.
But yeah, once you get past that, he's yeah.
Well, once you get past this, cover your ears, watch your ears. Here it comes. Once you get past that right there.
Why?
I told you, watch your ears. I warned you.
Yeah, so I look forward to seeing more stuff from him and watching more stuff from him. And I really like MLS.
Yeah.
And also the who does the it's MLS
Goats?
is always on there.
I'm waiting for him to say me because I'm awesome too, but I'm starting to
Yeah,
think it's not going to happen.
He's got MG
you're
Law. He has
MG's
Catherine
awesome.
Comments will comes on there. Val
well,
Storm.
You have Eric, you have Southern Law, and they do the Law News Roundup or something. What's it called?
Laid back news.
Laid Back
Laid
News.
Back
That's it. Yeah.
I'm out there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You mod everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, you know, all I have to do is just find a channel and then type in at Valhalla Awaits, and I guarantee he's going to come popping up because it's like he has 50 browsers up and he's just waiting for someone to say, "Hey, Valhalla, you want to come on?" And he's just like, "Yeah, sure."
You know what's
come
really
on."
messed up is I'm basically always on my phone. I'm barely on my computer. Almost always when you guys are talking to me in chat, I'm on my phone. I'm just everywhere, y'all. Like a slinky wrapping
You're like
around
a deer
the stairs.
tick.
There you
Like a
go.
deer tick.
That's a better analogy.
I'm not gonna. There's a lot of places I could go with that slinky thing, but yeah, I'm just not.
Oh my
shit.
gosh.
All right,
Oh,
I'm
this-
getting a little too inebriated because
I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready to shut this. I'm getting ready to shut this bad boy down.
Yes.
Everybody, make
Oh
sure
man, we were
that
just
if you
getting good.
we got to save a little bit. Got to leave them wanting. Got to leave them wanting.
I
So,
missed half
ladies and
of it.
gentlemen, you're fine. You're fine. People come check your channel out. Everybody, go check out Fast Group. He's really easy to find. It's Fast Group. What 77, 57,
75.
75. God damn it. See, he's really easy to find because I've attached him and his link there. He also has a website where he does freeze dried food. And I know a few people that have actually tried it and they've actually really enjoyed it. So go check it out.
And you're one of them.
Rabbit, of course, is a mod. Yes, I am. Rabbit, of course, is a mod on almost as many channels as Valhalla Awaits can handle. And of course, Valhalla Awaits, he has a working farm. So you definitely, if you get a chance, if you feel the urge, make sure that you've subscribed to him, give him some watch hours. And if you want to, you can always throw cash his way. It's going to go to a good cause of getting his farm up and running a little bit better. My links are in there. I'm good. You can throw money at me if you want to. I still will probably only take off my shirt on Memes channel. But other than that, everybody.
Memes channel?
Yeah.
Did I see that happen? I might have saw that happen.
You might have saw that happen. Yeah, I took my shirt off on Memes channel, but that's about the only place I'll do that. In the
You didn't see
meantime,
that happen, Valhalla. Your eyes are still working.
yeah, probably.
I think
so.
that was on the 24-hour stream.
Yes.
Yeah, I
yes,
think
it
I saw that
was.
happen.
So what
Max
we're going to
Headroom.
do is this one here is for all of you lovely people that have modded all of our channels, and this way you can give it a good read if you want to. But you guys have a good one. Peace.
Somebody.
don't forget your towel.